Okay.
Thank you. Okay, please open Masechet Yoma Daf Pei Amud Aleph. Yoma Pei Amud Aleph. If I hear David, here's the Gemara for you. Look at the bottom right before the white lines. Pei Amud Aleph. וכבר היה רבי ישמעאל ורבי עקיבא, רבי אלעזר בן עזריה, three of the greatest תנאים הלכים בדרך, ולוי הסדר ורבי ישמעאל בנו של רבי אלעזר בן עזריה מהלכים אחריהם. So somehow this major topic that the Gemara is going to discuss was asked from the rabbis as they are traveling. נשאלה שאלה זו בפניהם, מניין לפיקוח נפש שדוחה את השבת? The first question is, פיקוח נפש is דוחה cheeseburgers, פיקוח נפש is דוחה everything. Why is this שאלה דווקא שאלה about שבת? מניין לפיקוח נפש שדוחה כל המצוות, except three מצוות? It's a serious question. So before we start, we have 4 Rambams. Just take the Rambam a minute. Share, every 2 should share 1. Go to the Rambam, the end of Hilchot Shabbat.
Quick question: when it says Rabbi Ishmael's name before Rabbi Akiva, right? Does that mean that the Gemara, the Mishnah, considers him greater?
Right?
Because Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, we know, was younger after Rabbi Akiva.
Look at the Rambam. Look at the Rambam at the end of Hilchot Shabbat. Look at him. All the way at the end of Perashat Bo. Look at Alachat Tetvav. The Rambam, remember, it's a Perek Lamed Alachat Tetvav. Please remember that the Rambam always, at the end of many topics, is adding something to show the seriousness or a summary of the topic. The Rambam says in Alachat Tetvav, השבת, בעבודה זרה, כל אחת משתיהן, כולה כנגד כל שאר המצוות. Shabbat is equal to all the mitzvot. Shabbat el avodah zara, obviously for the positive and negative. והשבת, the reason is השבת היא האות שבין הקדוש ברוך הוא ובינינו לעולם. לפיכך, כל העובר על שאר המצוות, הרי בכלל ראשי ישראל, a man doesn't keep kosher, doesn't keep this, is a Jew בדירשה. אבל המחלל שבת בפרסיה, הרי הוא כבד עבודה זרה. We're not going into the halachic details of that, but this is in print, it's הלכה למעשה, but fine. Right? A man that knows what Shabbat is, and he gets it in Shabbat in public. Okay, so let's go back to the Gemara. You can put the Rambam back. So the question when the Gemara is raising it, even Shabbat, of course, if the Pikuach Nefesh is doche, kosher or not kosher, or all this, of course. Is Avodah is, since Shabbat is shakul keneged kol hamitzvot, is Pikuach Nefesh doche Shabbat also or not?
And they both skila, the worst punishment.
Correct. The Imam is saying equal. So the Gemara has many answers. We are going to focus on 1 and 2. The first one is, as you realized before, Rabbi Ishmael. נענה רבי ישמעאל ואמר, listen to this. אם במחתרת יימצא הגנב, פרשת משפטים. A man is, you catch a man digging into your neighbor's tunnel or your house in the middle of the night, and the Torah says you have the right to kill him. ומה זה, the intruder, שספק על ממון בה, ספק על נפשות. You're not sure if he's coming to kill or to
money.
just for money,
Yeah.
mostly for money.
Right.
ושפיכות דמים and murder מטמא את הארץ וגורם לשכינה שתסתלק מישראל. Any type of senseless murder, yes, contaminate the lands of Israel and pushes away the Shekhinah, which means if I have the right to kill him, I am committing now an Aveira that potentially
Could be.
is yes,
Big risk.
ניתן להצילו בנפשו. Nevertheless, I can kill the intruder, even though what I'm doing is, and I'm not sure, יש ספק. קל וחומר לפיקוח נפש שדוחה את השבת. Okay, so he learns קל וחומר. If you can kill to save a life, קל וחומר, if you can desecrate Shabbat.
Wow.
Okay, the Gemara goes 5 more reasons. The Gemara argues that each one. Go turn the page, please. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shemuel, as Jimmy said, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shemuel, by the white lines. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shemuel, I avai atam, and I been there. Hava Amina, I would have said, Didi, my pasuk, Adif Amidi, who is better than yours?
Yeah.
What is the pasuk? V'chai b'hem, v'lo she'amud b'hem. The Torah says, Eila ha'mitzvot. If you have the most of your Gemarot, you have the psukim on the side. You see the Dalet? The psukim on the side, Dalet. Look at Dalet. Ushmartem et chukotai ve'et mishpatai she'yaseh otam ha'adam v'chai b'hem ani Hashem. So the Torah says the precondition for the mitzvot is v'chai b'hem. But if the mitzvah is a threat or a sakana for Shabbat or other mitzvot, fine. So, and the Gemara says that this pasuk is better than all the others because even a safek.
Straightforward. It's straightforward.
No, it's also a safek because also a safek.
It sets a rule, and we have 3 exceptions because of Gezerat HaKatuv.
You have
In the end.
pasukim.
We have psukim for all 3.
No, but
not Shabbat.
the rule applies to every mitzvah if it's done in public.
Like,
Even
even like a cheeseburger.
even Shabbat and even Shatnez.
No, I
and even
understand that. That's
but
okay.
right.
The other one's only in private.
Now,
These
here-
are the only ones.
Here's the question. So
That has nothing to do with the religion.
You're saying it's better because of
if you learn the Gemara now, we need 45 minutes. And
No,
understanding
that's
the summary because it's safek. This v'chai b'hem covers even safek. The others don't cover safek. Comes one of the great Sephardic Acholim, and he's having the שאלה עצומה מאוד. Last week we spoke, the Gemara said that yesterday's parasha, how come Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, what gave them the right to?
Jump in the furnace.
After the prophet told them.
So the Gemara said they learned kal vachomer for Sfarim.
Oh.
The question is, Tosafot are asking, what's the question? It's avodah zarah, you have to give your life. Okay, so we gave last week 3 answers. Comes the Maharsha, and the Maharsha says, Rabbi Ishmael, the same man we're talking here, says in Masechet Sanhedrin, even for avodah zarah, only in public you have to give your life. Someone comes to you in your basement with a cause, the Crusaders are coming with a knife. You can do the avodah zarah.
His opinion.
Rabbi Ishmael, halacha is not
Not like him, right. So to him, there's no cardinal sin.
So if
They're all
no,
equal.
in public, like if it's public, yeah.
No, I mean,
No.
they're equal. No, we say the difference between the 3 and everything else is even private.
Gilui Arayot is
The other
even
two
Gilui
private,
Arayot
still
is
he's
even
gonna
in
hold.
private. Jimmy, Gilui Arayot is even in private. Murder is even in private. Avodah zarah is
Oh, he
only in
just
public.
separated that one?
This
that
one. Not
one.
only 3, only the Avodah zarah.
So he has 2 that are.
it affects another person.
So he's asking the Tosfot Yom HaKippurim, the Kushya Atzuma. Here, let's go back to the beginning of the Gemara. Go back.
Maharsha is listening to us now?
This Tosfot Yom HaKippurim is, I just mentioned the Maharsha to say that the Maharsha explained the Gemara in Pesachim, while Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah have to learn from the Frag, is because they held Perhaps like Rabbi Ishmael. Rabbi Ishmael
Yeah.
says, since there are no 10 Jews over there, it's like private. We look at one. If you have 100,000 goyim, there are no minyan of Jewish kids over 13, it's called private, not public. Public means 10 Jews. So here, look now. What is Rabbi Ishmael saying? How do I know the pikuach nefesh is docher Shabbat? I learned the Kal Vachomer from Machteret, yes? You, Rabbi Ishmael, you are saying that even by Avodah Zarah, you can desecrate Shabbat if it's in private. Why do you have to learn from Baba Machteret? Remember, the Rambam, we looked at the Rambam is equating Shabbat and Avodah Zarah, Shabbat to all the mitzvot. If Rabbi Ishmael says that you can do Avodah Zarah in private to save your life, of course Shabbat should be pushed away. Why does he read the new pasuk?
Oh, because Harambam equated them. So the fact that you hold
Again, the Gemara is having 5 or 6 sources. The Gemara has 5 or 6 sources that pikuach nefesh is docher Shabbat. Rabbi Ishmael is the first one, and Rabbi Ishmael learns it from Machteret. Machteret means you can, if you can kill someone to save your life, you can definitely desecrate Shabbat. Why do you need this source? According to you, even Avodah Zarah, which is a cardinal sin, is docher, it's being pushed away to save your life.
And then Avodah Zarah from Sanhedrin is private or public?
According to him, Avodah Zarah only in public. You have to give your life. In private, it's okay. Save your life. Your life is more important.
Maybe that would have been I would have said, I can't learn from Avodah Zarah because Avodah Zarah of private, you don't have to give your life. So I might have said, oh, I can't learn that to Shabbat. Because maybe Shabbat is more or less.
I told you, Harambam equated
So
them.
the Ramban
So
said,
he's going with Harambam.
אין דבר בעולם יותר מעבודה זרה. אין דבר בעולם יותר מעבודה זרה. And listen what he said. Listen, this is serious stuff. What is בא במחתרת? Look, read again in the pasuk. Look. אם במחתרת יימצא הגנב והוכה ומת. מה פירוש המילים והוכה? והוכה is... מה זה והוכה?
He got hit.
למה לא כתוב והיכה? I mean, this is my house. I wake up in the middle of the night, I see a man, a stranger in my basement. The Torah should say והיכה הוא באמת. Says the Gemara in Sanhedrin, it's not only Baal Habayit is allowed to do it. The neighbor says that Tosafot Yom Kippurim, the reason why he needs Baba Machteres is to teach me that Pikuach Nefesh is docher Shabbat even by a stranger. Maybe you, my life is in danger, I am allowed to do ABC. It's my life. Who says that you, everyone in the house, everyone that knows that I'm a Pikuach Nefesh, how do I know? This is what Machteret is teaching me. How do I know that the Nahag of Hatzalah, the driver of Hatzalah can do it? How do I know that everyone in the shul is allowed to do it?
From the hookah.
דבר עמוק מאוד.
So Chai by him doesn't cover it. You have to learn it elsewhere.
This is what he said.
addition.
Now listen carefully. Listen carefully. V'chai b'hem ila, he says, my obligation, right? My obligation to the mitzvot is only up to my life. My life. What right you have to save my life? This is why.
Time out. We have that.
תעודה שלישית לא מלווה מרכב. מה זה קשור לפה בכלל? כל ישראל הערבים שלה זה, we saw many times. The Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, if someone made kiddush for him, very nice, make hamotzi for him, whatever you want. To do avodah zarah.
So why do I have to save another Jew? Why do I have to let him die? What do I have to save him for?
This is what we're learning.
But that's in this case of the I see a Jew on the middle of the street and a car's coming at him. Do I have a thing to lunge in front of him?
The Torah says, "Lo ta'amod adam re'echa, lo ta'amod adam re'echa." You have to put your life even in danger, according to Yerushalmi, to save somebody. No, but this is, so he is saying the Torah is teaching us here from Machteret, the Kol Rabbi Ishmael. It's everyone's obligation to desecrate Shabbat, even though Shabbat is Avodah Zarah, like the Rambam. This is serious stuff. So let's go. No, Jimmy was asking, how do you know that
So that can be a substitute for machteret. Al tamud al dam re'echa can't be a substitute for the
אבל לא
Yeah,
תעמוד
okay,
על
So
דם
does the neighbor
רעך,
fall into that
David,
category?
it's only if you're sure
Machteret
that
is
the
safek.
guy is going. Here this chidush is even I have a
Safek,
shot.
safek.
I have
neighbor
a
doesn't know.
shotgun. I see a man breaking into my neighbor's house, and I'm killing him. What are you killing him?
Well,
Maybe he's
Talmud
going for a
is
painting.
only
Maybe he's
Vadai
going.
is not a-
Why can't you apply the rule of Rodef like that?
Or if.
So you're gonna kill the guy, maybe he's just gonna hunt
By
you.
Rodef, by Rodef, you are permitted to do it only if you're almost sure that he's going to do it. Yeah?
But what does the machteret mean then? What's the difference? Then machteret means he's sure he's coming in.
Oh,
Then for what? For money or
Maybe
for
he's
life?
coming for the money.
Give you money,
Maybe
give
he's
you life.
coming for the art. Maybe he's coming to have a cup of coffee. He needs a place
He's
to
not
warm
coming
up.
to the Machteret. He's not coming to kill you to begin with. You know he's not coming. The
Even-
killing is
So then,
And then Eli is saying more.
His
Eli
intent-
is saying
his
the
intent
Gemara.
not to kill you.
The Gemara says normally the money
he's coming
anyway.
to steal.
Since
but
the
he's saying safek al mamon ba, safek al nafashot ba. What does that mean?
right, no, so this is the source that you are permitted to do it even by Rodef. If it's a serious
Someone comes in your when someone's in your basement, we don't know for sure if it's money or life, do we?
says,
No, that's the point.
says the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Sorry, says the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Eli mentioned it. We assume that the owner is going to defend his property. If the owner is going to defend his property, the intruder is going to try to kill him. So again, if you are a man that is in full control of your emotions, and you say, here's my money, leave me alone, do it. But the Torah assumes that כך כתוב בגמרא.
You're gonna have to put up a fight.
So now,
Comes through the front door. It's not a machteret.
okay, the Gemara learns how to.
Well, come on, you know that there's a reason. There's the word is machteret here. It's not so
But it-
simple.
No one is disagreeing with you. Everyone is agreeing that the limud, that even besafek, you do learn from machteret, yes? The limud. In a minute, we are going now to pikuach nefesh and Shabbat besafek. In a minute. No one says that machteret is definite pikuach nefesh. Now, go a second to the opposite page. In your Gemara, you are in Pei Amud Aleph. Go to the opposite page. So Larry, by you Pei Daled Amud Bet 84b, few lines before the white lines by the two dots.
Some people had a meeting with the prosecutor in Long Branch.
For what?
Some people from the community had a meeting with the prosecutor in Long Branch because all the things are going on in Jersey. And he said, if somebody breaks in and I shoot him, whatever, he goes, you'll be in a lot of trouble if you shoot him.
In this
Do
environment,
not.
in this
Yeah,
environment.
do not.
And they're right. If you're rich and white, then you're guilty.
Yeah, then no,
Yeah,
if he's rich and white, then okay.
No, if the
kill him.
homeowner is rich and
I
white,
know,
you're
I'm
guilty.
saying, but the guy coming in is rich and white also.
Basically saying, we'll arrest you unless
Either
you
way.
Just as white is
Unless
okay.
you can show up.
Well, sure, the guy shows he has a gun in his hand that he would have killed you, then,
That's
you know, you
fine.
can't assume that he would have killed you. In other words, you
You
have
have
to
to wait
wrap
till he
it.
kills somebody. And then-
Basically,
You gotta shoot from the Pentagon.
that's what somebody said in the meeting.
Okay, keep your finger in Pei Daled Amud Bet and keep your finger here and go now to the Mishnah in Daf Pei Gimel Amud Aleph, 2 pages back, 83a in the Mishnah. Pei Gimel Aleph. This is everything that all the halachot of Pikuach Nefesh we learn starts from the Mishnah. Misha Chazo Bormos, a man, a woman is pregnant, she's passing a steakhouse, she has to eat, and otherwise she'll go to convulsions and etc. You can give her food, fine. Or Kippur. Misha Nashcho Kelev Shoteh, a man was bitten by
Wild dog.
a crazy dog, Shoteh, crazy dog.
Does that mean rabid or rabid?
Right. Ein ma'achilim oto mechatzar kaved shelo. According to Tanakh Amar, today we understand where it came from. Many people said if you eat the liver of the dog, which means basically what Louis Pasteur found out, he says don't eat the liver. Ramadja ben Charash matir. Fine, this is not the topic now. Fine. ועוד אמר רמדיה בן חרש החושש בקולו, if you are afraid that you have a serious disease you have a bad cold and it's affecting your throat or your lungs, matilim lo sam betokbi b'Shabbat, you can take medicine. Here, this is the Mishnah. Before all the antibiotics, הוא ספק נפשות, וכל ספק נפשות דוחה את השבת. How far are we going with the ספק נפשות? מי שנפלה עליו מפולת, right? Remember in Miami a few years ago, every time a house fell in, ספק הוא שם, ספק אינו שם. We're not sure on Shabbat,
Might be someone in the road.
right? Maybe it's not there, maybe it's not there for the weekend. ספק חי, ספק מת. It looks like he might be dead, but maybe he's alive. ספק גוי, ספק ישראל, מפקחים עליו את השבת, you desecrate שבת. מצאו חי, you found him, he's alive, מפקחים והיא מת יניחו. This is the Mishnah. Let's go back now.
If he's alive, you can move the stones and get him out. If you know he's dead,
Which means you cannot desecrate Shabbat for Jewish bodies, only if the man is alive.
And if
If he's dead,
kuti,
even though
it's definite kuti.
throw another stone on it.
but if he's dead, definitely leave him dead for Saturday. So go back now to Peidalet Amud Bet. So look at Peidalet Amud Bet. מפני שספק נפשות, the Mishnah said, it's a safek. The reason why we are bringing bulldozers and hundreds of people are working on Shabbat, safek nefashot. And the Mishnah concludes, v'chol pei daled amud bet, v'chol safek nefashot. מה זה v'chol? v'chol safek nefashot דוחה את השבת. אמר רב יהודה, אמר רב, לא ספק שבת זו בלבד. Not only אלא אפילו ספק שבת אחרת. You are permitted to desecrate this Shabbat, even though the sakana might be 8 days later. Eichi dami, כגון דעמדו לתמניה יומא. He has to take medicine that involves Chilul Shabbat for 8 days. The Yom HaKama, the first day, is Shabbat. Ma'u the Tema, let's push it 4 hours till Saturday night. Maybe let's try to save, violate one Shabbat.
But don't we have the saying that we should save somebody one Shabbat so we could observe more Shabbat?
No. Here, every time you prepare the medicine, you have to cook it on Shabbat. The doctor comes on the winter Shabbat, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Shabbat is out by 5. Wait 4 hours. If the doctor says he has to take it immediately, take it immediately. This is the Gemara saying. Even though you are desecrating now 2 Shabbatot, you could have waited 4 hours and start to take the medicine. Yes.
Right, but don't we have the same kind of halacha that it's a mitzvah when you see pikuach nefesh to do it yourself and not go look for a goy? Because we're worried that you might
whatever you know about the topic is in the next 12 lines. So whatever you know is here. This is the Gemara. So the Gemara says, whatever it takes, it takes. But you realize this is a case where the medicine that he is taking involves mamash pikuach nefesh. Yes, I had to take antibiotics for 10 days. Yes, 10 days. So it says in the Bible, whatever, every 12 hours. Yes, I used to take it in the morning and in the evening. On Friday afternoon, I took the first one, 4 in the morning, and I took it before Shabbat. Shabbat morning, of course I took it. Shabbat afternoon, I didn't take it. I waited till Saturday night.
Yours is only a derabanan.
Yeah.
Yours not even a derabanan.
No, but this is the reason. But the reason why I had to wait till Saturday night for the second one that day, it's only the Rabbanan. It's 12 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, more or less the same. Here the Gemara is saying this is serious. Yes, okay. Now the Gemara continues. Tanya Nami Achi.
Cook it
When you need it, or cook it?
Cook it
just-
on Shabbat
cooking
at
it,
12,
just
even though
serve
you
right
can
away.
wait 4 hours.
Don't we have this with Brit Milah somewhere where you could warm up the water on Shabbat? Don't we have it where Brit Milah, you could warm the water on Shabbat for the mother as well and for the baby, something like this?
By Brit Milah, if you did not prepare the hot water before
Right.
and you exercise the baby, then warm it up, warm it on Shabbat, because in the time of the Gemara, there's Pikuach Nefesh.
Yeah.
What happened if before the Brit Milah, I realized that I didn't prepare hot water. According to the Ramban, postponed the Brit Milah for Sunday. Here, according to the Ramban, postpone it for Sunday. Why would they say Shabbat? For the Brit, don't make the Brit, do it tomorrow. It's Machloket Ramban and Rav.
Wow.
Okay, this
What
is
if you forgot to prepare?
it's a separate. The Machloket is if you forgot. Everyone agrees.
That's even an 8th day Milah?
We were talking about the Brit Milah for 8 days.
They're not going with Rabbi Elazar, was it Rabbi
Right,
Elazar?
right.
He says that you.
Rabbi Eliezer says that you machshir, Okay, let's continue. Tanya Nami Achi, Mechamin Chamin Lechole b'Shabbat. We are permitted to boil water on Shabbat for Cholel. Bein la'ashkoto, bein la'avroto, if he has to drink hot water or if you have to wash him up. ולא שבת זו בלבד, אלא לשבת אחרת. Even though again, we can wait till Shabbat is over, this Shabbat, and do it 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The doctor says this is what you need, fine. ואין אומרים נמתין לו שמא יבריא, maybe you wouldn't need it, fine. אלא מחמין לו מיד, this is the key, בלי שספק נפשו דוחה את השבת. Now you do understand that if you ask a doctor today, is it necessary immediately? If he's a serious doctor and he tells you yes, of course you listen to him. Okay. Let's give you an example. Dr. Glansman, who's davening by us in Shul, he told me that the last Yom Kippur of Rabbi Feinstein's life, he went to visit him in NYU. And as he walked in, Rabbi Feinstein in bed says to him, Dr. Glansman, I'm happy you came. My doctors told me to eat on Yom Kippur, and of course, if I need, I have to eat. But you know more what it means to me, please examine me. He examined me, he says, they're right. He says, fine, thank you. I mean, then the doctor says to him, I can come later in the afternoon and hook you up
IV.
to the IV. So instead of eating,
Which is not better.
Nourishment.
Yeah, it's a little better.
it's much better. Remember, this I had from the doctor. This is not from Ritna. I had it from Dr. Grant.
First hand.
Told him, if you say I have to eat, I'm going to eat. I'm
Yeah.
not going to eat. Rabbi Salvation from YU, no? When he had to eat on Yom Kippur, he says, give me interventions. The answer is Rabbi Feinstein is a man that everyone follows. And if you hear that Rabbi Feinstein,
Then everybody would report.
Intravenous, then nobody's gonna eat.
מותר לאכול, צריך לאכול. Finish.
Shouldn't they say it's a mitzvah then to eat?
Of course, no, of course. But this is what he told me. In Yiddish, he told him, if you told me I have to eat, I have to eat. This is it.
There's a very famous story with Hacham Baruch with one guy, right? He had to eat on Kippur, and the guy didn't want to eat. The wife didn't know what to do.
So the rabbi came
She
himself.
told him, I'm going to eat. If you don't eat, I'm going to eat. So the guy felt bad.
Yeah, I mean, these are hundreds of stories
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it happens all the time.
No, but Rabbi, like you said, you see how eating on Kippur to almost everybody becomes like Yerek Vel Ya'avod.
But remember, psychologically, I mean, you realize the effect psychologically. People feel,
And the guy doesn't have to be the most religious guy. I'm just saying. It's just
Yom Kippur is Yom Kippur. People feel bad. What can you do? Okay, let's go further in the Gemara.
I think anytime you have something that's once a year, you get a little more.
Yom Kippur is special. Yom Kippur, by many people. I have to eat the Yom Kippur.
We're learning now Tuesday the Mechtav Miliyahu. So he says what person. So Rabbi Masada was saying like you said, Yom Kippur nobody's gonna. So he said we have the mitzvot. We have to take every mitzvah and make it as if it's a Yom Kippur eating on a Kippur. That was the right.
Then you water everything down, unfortunately.
No, but that's what the rabbi was saying. That you have to,
That's the idea.
that the idea is that it
That's
shouldn't
it.
even be a test for you, like kashrut or whatever. It should be like eating on Kippur. It's not even an option.
It's second nature.
Someone came once to the Chafetz Chaim here and he says he wants to publish a proclamation to show how serious Lashon Hara is. He wants to write Lashon Hara is more than Chazir. The rabbi told him, don't ever write it because people start to eat Chazir. To start with, doesn't mean he's going, but you mean.
You're not gonna elevate Lashon Hara.
They'll lower it.
But this is exactly, you have to be careful when you compare,
Yeah,
depends who you talk with.
You know, it's like in our community when they ate out, they ate cheese, they ate pig. Nobody ate pig.
Okay,
That was, even though they put pig in the.
Yeah, nobody with knowledge.
I met once at a convention a woman that told me my husband grew up religious. He's totally, he says he was over on every other, I mean, this is a man.
Except.
Chazir?
Chazir. My husband cannot. I mean, can you imagine? This is what the mental block, what you hear from a young age from your parents, I mean, it stays.
And shellfish also, by the way, they were very right. I said shellfish was the same like Hazir. Nobody ate clams, nothing like
Shrimp.
that. They ate out, but no pig and no clams, no shellfish.
Emir, Rabbi Joe Mizrahi showed me this final. The final, he had a question. Madua asur leisha lechol chazir? He meant to say, it's a lot ta'aseh, and a lot ta'aseh. Every woman, this is a girl writes a back, Rabbi, you didn't teach us what chazir is. I cannot answer. You didn't teach us what chazir is. He turned to me with shock.
What do you mean she doesn't know what Chazir is?
She doesn't know what chazir is. She's a girl from the community. Talk. It's
I know, she
chazir.
doesn't know Chazir.
Never been exposed to it.
He showed me that. He showed me, and he said, "I called the girl.
But it was
What
very
are you
tempting,
talking?"
you know.
He
The
says,
Red
"You
Lobster
didn't
has
tell her."
$9.99 lobster fest.
No. Which means,
Remember the lobster fest?
which means, don't take for granted that the kids know what you. It's obvious to you that they know.
It used to be an
If
obvious
they
thing,
know
that's
it,
why,
if they
right?
know it, they know it. Just
It's
say
not
yes, no. Look,
They don't know what Chazir is. You
Yeah.
teach it to them.
maybe I thought that everyone knows that cute, so why should I teach it to you? This is the point. This is a girl in 2023. You realize? It goes to Aruba next week. You know you have to go to vacation, but Chazir is Chazir. I mean, obviously it's one girl, but it was shocked. The answer is don't take for granted.
Don't take anything for granted.
Look further at the Gemara. Here comes the Gemara, Jimmy, that you mentioned before. So we are now in Yoma Pedalet Amud Bet, but the seventh line. Ve'ein osim devarim halalu. When you are mechalel Shabbat, as we said before, you're learning from Machteret, that even others are doing it. Lo al yedei nochrim. Don't rely on a Gentile. See, you have an aleph there, yes? ולא על ידי קטנים, obviously you have to write, ולא על ידי כותים, ולא על ידי קטנים, אלא על ידי גדולי ישראל.
The rabbi himself, yeah.
Before, it's a מחלוקת ראשונים. Again,
Rabbi Prague.
אפס second, לא על ידי נביאים, לא על ידי קטנים, אלא על ידי גדולי ישראל. Before you say whatever you say, look at the next line. ואין אומרים יעשו דברים הללו על פי נשים. Don't let a woman do it either. No, לא על פי נשים. Don't, ולא על פי נשים ולא על פי כותים, אבל מצטרפים לדעת אחרת. So here is מחלוקת ראשונים, how to learn this Gemara, לא על ידי נוכרים. Look at Tosfot on top right.
אלא בגדולי ישראל.
אלא
We want to know what Alpine Nashim means. Is that what we're trying to
We want to know first, what does it mean לא על ידי נוכרים ולא על ידי... ואפילו איכה אפשר בנוכרי. It seems from Tosfot, the goy is in the room.
Right there.
אפילו איכה אפשר בנוכרי, מצווה בישראל. The reason is, שמא יתעצל הנוכרי ולא יעשה. Maybe the Gentile would not do it as quick as it's needed. ויבוא לידי סכנה. This is the interpretation of the road. Of the Tosfot, the road.
Can I ask a question? So if I'm home on Shabbat and I'm having a stroke, God forbid.
So
So I
Shabbat.
don't, so I should call Hatzalah and not call 911?
That's for sure, always,
Absolutely.
especially in Manhattan.
Larry, where do you
Oh,
live?
all right, forget that question. All right, you know what I'm driving at. I should only call a Jewish person at that point?
Yes, this is exactly what it is. Because surveys show that Hatzalah, even in Manhattan, right, comes much quicker than the EMS.
And they're more
This is
committed,
exactly what the
more
question
You know
is.
who's gonna show up at the
Why
EMS?
don't you support to bring the proof? Mitzvah bo, yoter b'shalucho. If you go
Oh,
with
they're
mitzvah
talking about
bo,
a goy. If a
No,
goy
no,
is
no,
doing
no,
it,
you,
it's
the
with the
shaliach and the goy.
Rabbanan.
No, the shaliach and the goy.
Rabbi, you told us an incident in your house and your family about making a call on Shabbat.
Yeah, but that wasn't enough.
The goy, no, your question for sure, you call Hatzalah always.
But that's what he's teaching you. It is a
but
mitzvah.
Robert, why are we looking at it as a mitzvah? It's like you have an opportunity to do,
Save
like,
life.
They
like,
try to
give
be
a
the
good
90
chance
seconds.
to give $100.
So don't say Hatzalah. So should I call it?
Azara, yes. Chilul Shabbat is Avodah Zarah. So if you have Avodah, you save the same. Instead of doing Avodah Zarah, you can save your life by a goy. Do it by a goy. Do
So I
Avodah
should call a Jewish doc. You're saying I should call.
לא שייך לפה, כן? זה הסיבה, זה עבודה זרה לך לשבת.
You're saying I should call a Jewish doctor instead of a non-Jewish doctor.
If the Jewish doctor did not go to a D medical school and came the last one in class, if you know that it's on the same level, of course, no. No, but this is exactly what we're learning. This is why we're
No,
learning.
because the doctor has to be Mechalel Shabbat. The next guy over that next door neighbor is a guy. I should call the
Yeah.
Jew.
You have
Open
two
quality,
doctors.
open
One is a
quality.
bigger expert than the other, and the one that is bigger expert is a Jew. Of course, call
But
it.
what if they're the same?
What?
What if they're both the same?
And call it, if the guy is religious, call him. If he's not religious, it's not a Jew. Yeah? We're talking about now, a Jew means a guy that takes it more serious. Do you think that Jewish doctors in New York today are more careful about human life? Depends where you're coming from.
I thought,
נכון, again, Tosafot are saying that even if the goy is available, the only reason you don't.
But this is very interesting. Tosafot said this.
The Rosh totally disagrees.
Yeah,
The
because
Rosh says
he's-
if the goy, I mean, let's be now very practical. Your grandfather has an aide. He's a very loyal man. This is a case that happened in my neighborhood. Hatzalah came to an old rabbi, Rabbi Big. Okay? The rabbi is asking the Hatzalah man on the spot. His name was, I knew him well. In a minute, I remember his name. Do you need light in the room? He says, yes. So the rabbi says to his grandson, open
Turn on
the
the
light.
light.
His grandson.
He says,
On the
this is chinuch of a rabbi. The guy
What
was-
should the kid
the
do?
guy says, but Hatzalah is here. He says, you do it now.
Mitzvah.
But this is a Jew to a Jew. You realize he thought that
But it's funny, right? That's
Hatzalah is coming.
not what Tosafot saying.
Safot are saying that if the goy is available, you do it anyway. Yes. What would happen? Is the question. The goy was with Rabbi Big to open the light. It's not a question of 2 seconds or not. He's going to open the light.
Yeah.
Tell
What's
the
the difference?
according to Tosfot,
It's a mitzvah.
Shema it atzel. If you are sure that he's not mit atzel,
Then do ask the
do
goy.
it by the goy. It's mufarash in Tosfot. And open the shulchan. We know the Rashi in the beginning of the parak. We know the, again. עוד פעם, חס ושלום, להגיד שלוחו כמו this is
You're better. The mitzvahs, you're better. You're better than giving it to somebody else. You're involved in the mitzvah itself. Your body should be involved in a mitzvah.
This is only if the best if the mitzvah can be done by you like by the others. Maybe when did you learn this? Open Shin Chavchet. Shin Chavchet, if you bet.
Rambam doesn't learn this piece either.
I will see the Rambam in a minute, obviously. Shin Chavchet, 328. So if you bet. Here, David, listen to the Shulchan Aruch, David. Here. Shin Chavchet, so if you bet. This is our topic that we just read in the Gemara, is in the Shulchan Aruch. In my neighborhood, I remember as a kid, there was a big scholar, his name was Rav Chaim Todros. And Rosh Hashanah, the doctor told him, Rabbi, you have to be evacuated in the hospital. He said, it's banished. From Zaman Orbach came and says to him, give me your hand, I'm stepping with you to the ambulance.
There you go.
He says, you
Give
can't with
encouragement.
me. He says, if you're not going, I'm going.
There you go.
No, I mean,
Just like you said, the Chambaruch with the
no,
eating.
this is thousands of stories. I mean, this is what.
Rabbi
Look-
Pratt, can you adjust the camera just a little bit?
Yes,
It's hard.
yes.
Please, thank you.
Okay. Okay, good. You have it? סעיף י"ב. שולחן ערוך, the bold print. כשמחללים שבת על חולה שיש בו סכנה, משתדלים,
Try.
try,
שלא
שלא לעשות על ידי אינם יהודים, not to use a Gentile, or a child, or a lady, אלא
על
על
ידי
ידי
ישראל.
ישראל גדולים. You realize not גדולי ישראל scholars,
No, oh,
אלא ישראל
adult,
גדולים,
adults.
adults, גדול הלכתית,
בני
גדול,
דעת.
בני דעת.
So what you trying to say, ladies and kids are
What
not
is
bnei
Nashim?
da'at?
Yeah, what is Nashim? Why is she not?
We see מחלקת ראשונים, the world,
So I'm gonna say now the Shulchan
every
Aruch.
community they explain it differently, but Rashi, we see it. ויש אומרים, says the Rama,
It's not my fault, Shulchan Aruch.
this is one of the big differences between Ashkenazim and Sfaradim on serious matters. There are too many. ואם אפשר לעשות בלא דיחוי ובלא איחור, the aid is in the room. הצלה is in the room. And the question is to take 2 steps and flip the switch. What is the difference if a Jew does it or not? It's not to drive the
Yeah.
ambulance or to call a doctor.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same, says the Rama.
עושה על ידי שינוי.
עושה על ידי שינוי או על ידי גוי, yes? עושים על ידי לא יהודים.
לא איחור כלל.
ואם אפשר לעשות, so again, ויש אומרים, ואם אפשר לעשות בלא דיחוי ולא איחור על ידי שינוי, עושה על ידי שינוי, ואם אפשר לעשות על ידי לא יהודי בלא איחור כלל, is very careful, בלא איחור כלל, עושים אותו על ידי אינו יהודי, וכן נוהגים. This is one of the big
Where did
differences.
they get that from the
What does that just mean? Could you explain exactly what that means?
Tosfot, the Shulchan Aruch copies the Gemara the way Tosfot
Yes,
said.
but
Yes?
יש אומרים,
Shulchan Aruch Gemara says don't use a goy. Says the Rama don't use a goy if a delay might come because of the goy. But
If
otherwise,
the goy is right next to the switch.
no, but the good example is here's a good example.
There's Rishonim, obviously, that
Read the Tosfot, David. Read the Tosfot now carefully. Read the Tosfot slow. Yeah. Tosfot. Yeah, agree.
ואפילו היכא דאפשר בנוכרי, מצווה בישראל, שמא יתעצל הנוכרי.
Shema yit'atzel anochri. What does it mean?
Maybe you get
So if the aid is in the room and you have to flip the switch and there's no difference if you come to the hospital in 5 minutes or 10, according to the Tosfot also tell the goy, correct?
Oh.
This is the Rama, yes?
He didn't
Don't
just
do
say
it
mitzvah
unnecessarily.
b'Yisrael.
Yes, of course.
don't do
So Maran doesn't care if you do a shinoi, if you open the light with your elbow?
It seems like no.
Why not?
Well,
If you go
oh.
lower, if you go
You
lower.
have to read that. I think that's how Rambam says
So
it.
that's it. It's a machloket.
That's how Rambam's
It's a
opinion.
machloket rishonim.
Why wouldn't Maran want you to lower
If
from
you
the
were
right to it to
Wait a minute, wait. So basically, the good example here at Salah in Borough Park on 60th Avenue between whatever 52nd and 51st, they have a budget of 300,000 extra. Why?
They hire.
They hire the drivers of the ambulance. Is always a
Yeah.
Jew.
Yes.
He's a driver. What difference does it
The
make?
goy's not gonna be in a rush. You might want to go pick up a cup of coffee on the way. I
If
don't
you
know.
go to Ocean Avenue and Avenue L, the corner of the big Salah station, the rabbi there is Reb David Cohen. He says, no. I know that it's okay, but Dafka, a Jew should drive a goy should drive the ambulance, or a Jew no. It makes no difference. Why? He's saying, mutar. In Borough Park, they say, no, driving to the hospital will be by a Jew. Coming back, the goy.
Also, the Hatzalah itself has two
Better.
different.
Every
They
time
hire people.
Hatzalah, every
I think
time
Shomri has it
Hatzalah,
also. Has some
every
goyim
time
that don't
Hatzalah
drive.
makes a pickup, they are delivering to the hospital. Right away they go. There are two Italians and they pay every Shabbat and every Yom to drive right away to the hospital.
To
And
bring
they
you
drive back to the
No, I'm saying, but the Hatzalah doesn't have one rule, it sounds like what you're saying. You're saying there's different rules and different.
because Perashat Bo is run by Hungarian rabbis who have a Masoret from Europe, Kach
Right.
v'Kach. And Rav David Cohen says, from Rav Feinstein, few
We
times.
should have one halakha about it.
What-
We should have one
Don't
governing
worry.
body.
You wanna be Jewish?
He allows Jews to
Drive
to
back home.
drive
back home.
to drive back home. He says, mutar, mutar.
Wasn't that Rabbi Feinstein's psak?
Yeah,
This way they go back, you said. This way.
Now,
Do
in
it again the next
between
time.
these two places, there are many places that I saw and many saw. יש חילול שבת involved. אתה מבין those who do, they follow orders. But every time you have a gray area, then if you know halacha well, it's fine. If not, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. The main idea to learn is that we have to do whatever we can. We're trying to learn if, that's it. That's the Mishnah Berurah. Okay. Ata shalol la'asot, yeah? The Shulchan Aruch says, don't use a goy. Hatam katav arosh, mishum dezimnin deletnayu. I have a kid, he's a teenager. He saw me looking for the goy. So what registers in his mind is a
Can't do something else to do
you
it.
can't do it.
And then with the
Next
time
time when my father is not there, הם לא נמצאים, letter, זה לא נמצאים. זימנין דלתנאי, sometimes they are not there. ועד זה גם כן להדורי בתחי, when the kid says, my father went to look for the goy. You didn't realize your father went to look for the goy because your mother went into labor. And if you come to the hospital in 2
Doesn't
hours,
matter.
now it doesn't make a difference. If there is a stroke, ומתוך כך, לעבור לידי סכנה.
Are you waiting and trying to find the goy?
וטעם זה שייך כלפי קטנים, ואינם יהודים, period. Everyone wanted to know what are the ladies doing here.
Yeah.
ואצל נשים היא כטעם אחר. שמא יאמרו, I don't think it applies today, but שמא יאמרו, שלא ניתן שבת לדחות אף בפיקוח נפש. ולכך מוסרים אותם להם. They say, we don't keep Shabbat anyway, so good. So you may as well do this. This is what he said. Look at the Mishnah Berurah.
Don't try this at home.
Shema Yomru, the ladies would say, hear this?
You have a
You really
highlighter? You have a
cannot.
highlighter?
Don't try this at home.
What is he saying?
No, he's saying the ladies are saying,
Anyway, we're not
we're not
talking.
They
keeping
consider
Shabbat.
themselves second
God
class
told
citizens.
us to put desecrate Shabbat for the Choleh. If we would not be here, you cannot really desecrate Shabbat for Choleh.
The women think
Rabbi,
they're
God
second
forbid
class
during this
citizens,
situation,
that's why
though,
we do it.
there's no chinuch in
מתוך כך, this is the Rambam, by the way, we'll see the Rambam inside in a minute.
Don't try this
מתוך
at home.
כך יבוא לידי סכנה, או שמא יקלו אנשים בדבר, ויבואו לחלל שבת במקום אחר. She would be, okay, correct. We'll see the Rambam in a minute. Now, the Mishnah Berurah, remember, the Ramah says, okay, look at the next Mishnah Berurah למד' אלא על ידי, וכשיש שם במעמד זה חכמים, מצווה לכתחילה, לעשות חילול זה.
They should do it.
Yeah, this is what the halacha comes.
Yeah.
If there is a rabbi there, he should do it to send a message
Even
to
if they're all
everyone.
Jews, يعني Chacham Obadiah is there, he should do it
He
himself.
would run to do it like Reb Shlomo and everyone. This is numerous stories. This is, look how many. Rambam בפירוש המשנה, וריאז, one of the commentators of the Rif, ותשבץ in Morocco, חלק הזמן ודע. The cause סעיף זה מהירי, שכולם עומדים באותו מעמד, הלדיז, הקטנים, והגויים, והרבים. אבל ילקה שם אנשים ויש נשים, בוודאי אין להם להמתין והם זריזות. And most rabbis are saying that today's ladies it doesn't apply because ladies are more educated. Ladies,
V'niskarot, we're gonna get reward for it.
no, v'niskarot, yeah, because you said before they are doing the mitzvah of saving someone's life.
Rabbi,
Yes,
the halakha says a fire or thing like that. If you're only gonna lose a yad or a regel, you don't put out the fire. It's very different message than this message.
Okay, if you want to look later.
There's one safeh that pikuach
He's
nefesh
talking
on
about
safeh
safeh-
eber. You're talking about
safeh
safeh eber. A limb.
על ידי אינו יהודי,
The thing we go to the hospital today, this, because it could be losing second half. You're talking about losing an arm and not second half.
It's not a practical,
Second
it's not a
half.
practical situation.
על ידי אינו,
Hang on, I never have to pull it out. In those days, you lose an arm, it's not second half. There's a big gap here.
It says the Gemara, the clearly says if you have the Hosh Ainani, that's
Sammy, if you want, it's a topic, it's סכנת אבל, סכנת אבל.
When they started Hatzalah, in the Haredi neighborhoods, there were protests. That's Shabbat, protests. Not for coming back, for going. What? They didn't read this Mishnah. Same in Borough Park in New York. When Hatzalah started, they protested, Chal Shabbos, don't save the Jew on Shabbat.
No one in Asala was founded by Williamsburg, by Satmar Hasidim, while the old Satmar Rebbe was, and he was the biggest supporter of Asala.
In Borough Park, they protested.
אף אחד, never, ever, I'm there from 73.
It says in Israel, no, in Israel, he gives
I say, Teku, let's move
Tell
on.
me tomorrow the page, I'll read the page today. Remember the page, I'd like to see the page.
Okay.
going, not returning. Very
Dropping it
nice.
again
Rav
and
Moshe
again.
and Rav Shlomo Zalman, whatever it was. Not looking
Fine.
for returning.
Match
Rav
it.
Moshe
Stack
was
the paint.
Zocher,
It's
legend.
going.
The rabbi's there from 72.
אף אחד לא, סמי,
Possible?
סמי, לא יכול להיות, לא באמת, לא יכול להיות. He's talking about this. I'm sure that the Eli Bir is not lying, I'm sure the Eli Bir is talking about the specific situation.
Maybe he's talking about the hanging nail.
Plan to go this
Ah,
year.
I don't know.
Sammy, many years ago, אולי 25 שנה, I was going to Israel, so a lady was very involved in people who have diabetes, asked me to go to Rav Neuvel. He came out with a new machine that can measure automatically your
Blood
goes
sugar
up.
level.
Are you allowed to carry it all the time on Shabbat? So she wanted me to go to Rav Neuvel, and the head of one of the departments in Maimonides was going, says he'll meet you there. He'll explain the rabbi exactly what the
Yeah,
machine
yeah,
does.
that's mechanics.
Right? We met. So the Rabbi Leibit is the head of Hatzalah in Beit Vegan. He's a Talmid of Shomdam Roba. So he says to the doctor, before we discuss the topic, let me tell you what Shabbat is about. תשמע טוב. The doctor wrote later an article, he says, the halachot that he said more or less I know, but this speech he gave said like this, in my area, I instructed every Hatzalah driver to drive with the talit on, don't take it off. And while you drive, sing songs of Shabbat. Which means you are doing a mitzvah gedolah, but don't forget.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Then he told him,
Now,
of course, people already, we spoke about the machine, and he says, we cannot come out with a general heter. Every case is specific. A man that really needs it is allowed to do it. Others, no, but
minute to minute.
the doctor wrote later an article about it. He says, his speech about Shabbat is, if you want, you can say that in Beit Vegan there are more lenient than everywhere in Yerushalayim, or there are more strict. What they do is accept what he says. The protest that I'm sure the Eli Bir is not making a lie. In certain incidents where there was a machloket, this time there was a
Rabbi, could that machine be a Suda Doraita?
what?
Could that machine be a
Okay,
Suda
I
Doraita?
feel
I know
like
without
this
getting
is
into
a Suda.
detail. Can it be?
It measures the
No,
levels
most
by
likely
taking a little
not.
sample,
Because you're not doing a
It's
master.
attached to your leg.
and also taking a little sample of blood, I guess, to get the test.
No,
No,
the
not the
machine.
test. Like
This-
type 1 diabetes, you need insulin, so it measures the blood sugar and automatically.
How's it measure the blood sugar from?
AC1, what do you mean? I'll show you now.
No,
How's it
how's it
sample of
measuring-
blood?
how's it getting
Measure the
access
sample of
to
blood. It's just like Pierce.
Today it has a little piece that's attached to the.
Yeah, and how's it measuring it? It has to taste.
No, maybe it's in there, Ronnie, maybe the needle's inside.
It's there all the time.
Oh, but it's drawing blood. It's drawing blood.
Rabbi,
Oh.
we need a class on this.
But it's drawing a little
Look,
tiny
look,
sample of blood, a microscopic
Look
blood.
a second.
No?
Look a second.
it figures out the liquid, which correlates to the blood sugar and tells you what your,
Where's the liquid coming from?
it's coming from your body. There's a patch on it.
No, but he's trying to make a point.
But
Is
it's
it
interacting with your blood.
injection of your house?
Reacting.
That gives the same reading as blood
Right.
without taking blood.
So
This
when
this is
you-
2023.
Right,
Mr.
so with
Yeah.
type 1 diabetes.
2024 says.
So you're not puncturing your skin,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not puncturing your skin, you're trying to avoid getting it.
Danger with type 1 diabetes is they need, type 2 is different.
We
Type
know.
1, you need insulin if the blood sugar goes
Goes
down.
to a certain level, of
So it
course.
reads it, and then it transfers to the other machine
That-
and gives the person the type 1
Yeah,
diabetes.
yeah.
So it's סכנה נפשות.
מה סכנת נפשות?
זה
Yeah,
סכנה
yeah, yeah.
For sure, for sure, got it. It's more immediate.
I remember when the Rama says וכן נוהגים, remember the Rama was in Poland 450 years ago. 100 years after him was the Taz. The Taz is the main commentator of Shulchan Aruch. Look what he said. look משנה ברורה למזין. look למזין. וכן נוהגים, והתז כתב, אליו מנהג ותיקים.
It's not an old
It's
custom.
amazing, you have to realize. The Taz
Wow.
was as big in Europe, Ashkenazim, as
Yeah.
Rama. And he says,
It's not
even though the Rama says, rely on the Goy, he says, לאו מנהג ותיקים. ואף שיכול לעשות על ידי אינו יהודי, בכל מקום הישראל יזרז בדבר יוצא.
He's going more with
He said, he's saying, you have to be, this is why the example I gave you before, everyone will agree. To switch their life, זה לא שאלה של זמן בכלל.
The Taz is able to collect on.
The Taz is a heavyweight.
I know, but he's an
He's
Acharon
collect many times.
compared-
Yeah,
He's like Shulchan Aruch.
definitely,
I
definitely.
mean, you can't get away, we have a principle,
But
but always
it's-
trying
you see
to
how he
lower the
prefaced it?
Amenah, even if you have two
They-
types,
they
two Doraita, you have.
Eli, what you're saying is the biggest
Yeah, if it
problem
was the
with
type
this
of
issue.
Tikkun, I wouldn't be able to
And
overlap.
many people that they took Maran too far, I saw
In other
people
words,
that
there's
are
100
getting
years
Shabbat
before
for
me.
no reason.
It's not like.
Maran.
I have to say.
I was gonna say, if you're in a
Yes.
situation, there's no.
You have to tell your family not to get sick on Shabbat. That's the key.
Okay, Larry says don't get sick on
Tell
Shabbat.
your family.
It's so complicated. I'm so lost after this.
I'm just telling you, every religious boy that goes today, goes today to medical school, they have special rabbis here. In the B'ki'im Atzumim, B'ilchot Shabbat, they give him a special course. Every nurse in Shaare Tzedek Hospital learns the same halachot. They are trying to accommodate, to do the best you can. ולכן,
When he said this, was he mechadesh this, or was he relying on other Rishonim?
ברמה, יש חכם עובדיה לא חידש שום דבר בכל החיים שלו.
No, maybe it's his understanding in
לא
Tosafot.
חידש, הכל זה עם ראשונים, אין דבר
No, that's
כזה.
how you understand it.
כן,
No, that's what.
obviously, David, obviously.
You said you have to have a source, but how do you understand that source?
ולכן, אם יש, says the משנה ברורה, according to the Taz, אם יש אפילו ספק הצלה, ויש סכנה בבירור, if a man has a stroke, just do the best you can as fast as you can. This is the bottom
That's
line.
not a question.
But again, the fine line between a stroke or a heart attack and the pinky of a kid is bleeding and his mother safek sakana, you see drops of blood from the pinky. The grandmother has to come to the hospital also because it's I mean, this is where the argument is. Everyone knows when yes, and everyone
Rabbi,
knows that.
today, they tell you if the girl says I want my mother, the mother goes into Uber.
Everyone agrees the mother, but the grandmother at
But
the
if
end.
the girl
at
would
the
say,
end,
if the girl would
at the
say, if the girl in Sakana today, they would tell you put her in the car.
Right.
No, that's the way that he's right, Sammy. Was so low. If the girl would come say, you know what? I need my grandmother with me.
If she says
They're gonna let
so,
her go.
if she
It's like
says
that. She
so,
says, I want my mother-in-law.
Then she's crazy.
then there's no sakana.
It's like the food. It's like the
No,
food.
then she goes to a mental institution, not to the hospital.
She's delirious for sure. They pick her up.
Dr. Zemba told me, he prays on Avenue J and he's
It's like that, that's what the
28.
mother-in-law does.
He told me he was in the summer in the shul and he hears ladies screaming from the top, Atzala, Atzala. He runs up, he's a doctor. A teenage girl is on the floor fainting. Okay? He takes a pulse, this. Meantime, Atzala is coming in. And you know, B'Atzalah, they have a rule. Whoever comes first, he makes the decisions. You cannot cover.
Yeah.
It's very important for them. Anyway, Dr. Zemba says to him, I don't think you have to evacuate him to the hospital. So he says to him, our instructions are, if a girl faints for no reason,
Take her.
take her. Says, my name is Dr. Zemba. The reason is because their condition is not good. I says, doctor, respectfully.
They have their
says to him,
protocol.
Call your superior now.
There's
Says
protocol.
Dr. Zemba is here. Superior B'Atzalah says, if Dr. Zemba tells you, they stayed
Okay.
half an hour. She got up. She
So I have
got
to tell you, happened to my father. My mother called me.
again, I'm telling you this.
My father fainted.
Much
I'll
better.
finish.
Dr. Zemba tells me, imagine that I would not be there. I would not be
They
there.
would take her.
And they would take her. He says, and she did nothing. I mean,
Okay.
did they do Chilul Shabbat? They did the mitzvah. They did the mitzvah. Driving Jews, remember this is Tzara Flatbush. So Jews are driving a girl that doesn't need anything. But the answer is, if your observation is that she needs help, he says, I was there, but you see, very often, it's a very often.
Does it
Unnecessary.
happen in the dome very
No, but
often?
I'm
Yom
saying you have
Kippur,
to- no,
that
no.
the ladies it gets very hot up
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
So they
I
get
had
faint.
this, my mother called me, your father fainted.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to the house, we called Hatzalah. Then he woke up, it was 10 seconds, nothing.
You
The
never know.
Hatzalah said, we have to take him to the hospital.
never know.
No. I said, why? He looks fine.
No.
Okay, where do you want to go? You want to go just to community? You want to
No.
go here?
No.
I said, my mom is enough. If we're just going to
Yeah,
whatever, I'm not going to take him all the way to Columbia
yeah.
Presbyterian City. So we're there all day. I thought we were going to bring him home. All of a sudden, it happened twice.
Oh.
2 hours later, turns out he needed a pacemaker.
Wow.
No, so from that
Shows
fainting,
you that.
it wasn't for no reason. No, I'm just saying, just look at the
He-
rule.
he-
that has to
he-
be-
By the way,
what
he
he
could have
said?
had a TIA. Could
His
have been a
father
temporary small
fainted
stroke.
and he woke
No,
up
no,
after 10
No, no,
seconds.
I'm saying it could be many
Salah
things.
insisted of taking
The person
him.
blacking
And
out
it
is
happened
not,
in the
it's a
hospital
serious
again
matter.
and again. He needed a
It's
pacemaker.
not just a.
That's my point. I told him, what do you have to take him for?
No,
This is why
just not a
this is
simple
why
water.
Salah. This is why Salah.
They
This
have,
is the
they
rules
know
of
their
the-
protocol.
That night, Rabbi, they don't want that. The doctor says, maybe we'll wait 3 days. It was Shavuot. I forgot what it was until we called, some people or whatever. So the doctor came at like 8 o'clock at night. They did it. He goes, I don't know who you know. The doctor told me, he goes, I don't know who you know that you got a pacemaker put in tonight, but otherwise, no, they're gonna leave him another 3 days. The rules are crazy here.
Now,
What lesson do we learn on a pregnant woman, even though it's not a full person?
okay, so this is shir. It's Machloket Rishonim, and the Ramban says you desecrate Shabbat even to save an unborn child.
Was it help for the mother
This
also?
is but let's assume it's not.
Did you learn it from Pasuk or is it?
No, so
Safarah?
there is the Rishonim, the Ramban. Ramban says in Yoma that לגבי פיקוח נפש, if you want,
Saying if
go back to Pehei Amud Bet a second. Go again to Pehei Amud Bet. To Pei Vav, I'm sorry, Pei Vav.
Hey, what?
you want the
Go
time,
again to Pehei Amud Bet.
you want a timetable?
Yeah, Pei about 5 minutes. Pehei, go back to the original Gemara that we started, Amud Bet. I told you the Gemara has 6 sources. There's no time now, but I'll show you that every source is teaching us a new halacha. Listen to
Who's
this.
on the Mishnah?
Listen to this. Rabbi Shimon ben Menasya Omer, right before the white lines, see?
Yeah.
Every day, Rabbi Shimon ben Menasya Omer, where is the source? We are desecrating Shabbat to save a life. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, אמרה תורה חלל עליו שבת אחת, כדי שישמור שבתות הרבה. Very nice. But what happened if the doctor tells you he's going to die today anyway? According to the halacha is, you have to do it. So what is Rabbi Shimon ben Menasya saying? Says the Ramban in Yoma life, a baby. An unborn baby is not a full human being. And if you kill him, it's another full-fledged murder. Nevertheless, this logic to hear of Chalel Alav Shabbat Achat, כדי שישמור Shabbat, tells you, even for the Ramban, this pasuk. Another good example, Eli, the Gemara in Masechet Baba Metzia says that Tosafot are asking, why did Eliyahu revive the baby? The baby is dead. Eliyahu is a Kohen. There's no mitzvah to revive dead people, only people who are alive.
Right.
תוספות האנסרים, בטוח היה, sure, the question is so what, but he's dead, the answer is חלל עליו שבת אחת כדי שישמע. says the מעריץ חיות, it's a beautiful pshat here. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai knew, but he says I have to bring my souls. In some situations in reverse, he's dead. Nevertheless, he's going to keep Adon Shabbatot. The baby was not born yet. He's going to keep Shabbatot Arbe.
Even more so, it seems to be because so many babies didn't make it. That
Correct,
even on a safek,
correct,
that
correct.
we wait 30 days to make sure the
Correct,
baby's gonna
correct.
live.
To kill a
And
baby
here-
that was born today, if the mother was not pregnant 9 months, in our Torah, it's not, you cannot kill the guy that killed
Right,
him.
right. So
Unless-
even on the safek that this
This
baby's
is
gonna
the-
live
this-
and make it to
Here you
to-
see
to-
how
That's a
far
stretch.
this affect the
That's right.
Perashat Bo. Maybe tomorrow we'll continue. There's
Interesting,
another.
interesting. Very interesting. Thank you.
See, that's why Rabbi the Tosafot doesn't take into account what other people are gonna
Correct.
think.
Correct,
That's
correct.
the difference.
נכון,
He-
נכון, נכון. The Rambam,
The Rambam is clear, you
Correct,
have to
correct.
worry what other, that's what the Torah is wondering.
we didn't say the Rambam yet, but
The
the Mishnah Berurah goes back. Eli, to Yuma, reveal the rest of the Alpha downstairs.
I'll take them down. Which one's gonna go?
The one with the numbers, the red ones, the one that have numbers is here. I took one from inside, two from here, and the rest came from downstairs.
So Rabbi, you explain the difference between fire.
Eventually, yeah. But it's called, please remember, yeah. Sammy, which page?
I'm gonna get you the.
Hey, yeah, please, don't lie, man. Eli, how do you close it?
Is it closed? Where is it?
Savannah.
You hit end meeting for all.